Class 1 is currently in the ring. Class 2, 17-year-old showmans, please come to ringside. All right, we're back in business. Just a single entry out here with the young lady in the 18-year-old division, but I think you do a really good job with eye contact and getting your weather set up. I like how you can brace them into position, but for me in showmanship, I actually prefer to see you reach down and place those feet so you can get accurately set up in a market class. I'm totally cool with just bracing them to get them into position, but you do get a really good brace on them when I lay my hands on them. I really like that. One thing to work on, when I came over here and stood on the other side, make sure you flip around to the other side of your weather. So he's always in between the two of us, but very good job. Class results for Class 1, first place Raven Heron. Class 2, 17-year-old showmans are entering the ring. Class 3, showmanship 16-year-olds, please come to ringside. individuals in this class, and they all have some strengths and some things I'd like to change about their showmanship style and what they do. For me, the young lady that I'm going to use to start, I think you're probably the best combination of the two that are directly below you. Right now, your doe's wanting to give you a little bit of a hard time, but I really appreciate how you did take the time to reach down and set those feet, especially her hind ones, something I'm looking for in showmanship. One thing I'd say moving forward that you can improve on, there were a couple times where I came around the other side where you maybe weren't as quick to switch to the other side of your doe as the young lady that's going to stand in second, but I think you do a really good job with eye contact and setting the feet on your doe. Congratulations. The young lady that's going to be in second, I think it's really close between her and the young man in third. Probably the difference for me is I really appreciated how you went down and you individually touched all those feet. That's something I really look for in showmanship a lot. You know, every now and then your doe will want to kick out her front leg. She's kind of doing it right now. So just keep an eye on that and make sure you do that. And another thing, when you're walking, always make sure you look in front of you so you don't get too close to the person in front of you. But very good job with eye contact throughout the entire time. The young man that comes in third, you know, you do a really good job of getting that weather set up by just bracing him into position, but I do like to see you reach down and touch those feet. I know it's not always the most natural in showmanship. Market, completely fine if you brace him in, but every time I handled him, he had an awesome brace going on, and I really liked your eye contact. One thing I do moving forward, just make sure you look ahead of you every now, especially when you're the first in the class. That way you know exactly where you're going, but very nice job. And the young lady that's going to round out this class, she certainly did a tremendous job working with her weather at home. I know that's not a natural way for weathers to be shown, but she does a really nice job of getting her weather presented, and she's definitely spent a lot of time getting him ready at home. Congratulations, young lady.
Class results for 17-year-old showman. First place, Riley Trotman. Second place, Brittany Morris. Third place, Nolan Wise. And fourth place, Brianna Powell. In your program, it'll read 2, 4, 1, 3. Class 3, 16-year-old showmans, please enter the ring. Class 4, showmanship, 14, 15-year-olds, please come to ringside.
The young lady that's going to start off this class, I think, does a really good job out here with her doe. In terms of transitions, how you move from side to side when I'm walking around the doe, you do a phenomenal job. So seamless, so smooth. And appreciate how you reach down and touch those feet to get her set up in her position. Every time I get my hands on her, really good brace. Congratulations, very nice job. The young man that's going to come in second, I think it gets probably a little bit closer after that. To me, the difference that probably sorted second and third, you were quicker with your transitions, especially when I got in front of you guys and you gave me a front view. Generally, you were quicker to get to that transition than the young lady that's going to come in third. Going forward, one thing I would say, maybe work on a little bit more eye contact, especially when you're walking. You know, there were times maybe when you were focusing a little bit more on the animal directly in front of you, which is totally good, but don't forget to make a little eye contact going forward, but very nice job. The young lady that comes in third certainly does an amazing job with eye contact. You always know where I'm at in the ring, and you do a really nice job getting your doe set up. Like I said before, sometimes when I get on the other side, you'd want to get on the wrong side or maybe not get to the other side as quick. So going forward, maybe that's something you work on a little bit more at home, saying, okay, let's work on doing all sorts of crazy stuff and moving around from side to side, but very good job with eye contact. And the young man that's going to come in fourth, you know, you certainly do a very nice job of getting your weather braced, and I like how you can just push them into place and set them up. But like I've said several times, I do prefer in showmanship if you just reach down and set those hind legs. But really good job of getting your weather set up. One thing I just work on probably is a little bit more eye contact. Every now and then you'll just want to spend a little bit more time looking at your weather instead of me, but very nice job getting him set up.
Class results for Class 3 16-year-old showman. First place, Kaylee Bingham. Second place, Cody Trotman. Third place, Samantha Skelly. Fourth place, William Myers. In your program, it should read 1, 4, scratch, 3, 2.
Can't hear you in here. That one on. Both on. Yeah, for whatever reason. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Talk louder. Now entering the show ring is Class 4, 14 and 15-year-old showmen.
Another good class here in the senior showmanship division, and the young man that I'm going to use to start off the class, I think does a really nice job of getting his weather set up. Maybe sometimes you're a little aggressive on picking his head up off the ground to get those front leg in place. I wouldn't be quite as aggressive on that going forward, but I think you do a very nice job of presenting your weather, always knowing where I'm at in the ring, really good on your transitions. One little thing, when you came in the ring, there was kind of a little bit of a traffic jam, and you just kept on going. In a showmanship class, I'd probably hold up and wait and do the best to stay in line. In a market class, get in your spot, get the animal presented. But very nice job out here. The young lady that's going to come in second, certainly one who does a very nice job with eye contact. And your ring awareness, knowing where I'm at all times, is excellent. The biggest issue, your weather wants to do what he's doing now and pull back a little bit, and it's hard when your teammate doesn't want to cooperate necessarily. So with that, sometimes he wants to throw a leg out or something, and just being cognizant of when he does that and getting him back and set up. But very good job with eye contact and ring awareness. The young man that's going to come in third, your weather initially wanted to kind of drag you around the ring a little bit. But you never gave up, and I really appreciate that. If he does that, maybe try to put your hand underneath his chin like a lamb and turn it up to the sky a little bit to get him to slow down a little bit. But I think once you get him stopped, you get him set up and looking really good. One thing I'd like to see a little bit more of for the future is some eye contact on the move. You're really good with eye contact standing still, but when you're on the move, don't be afraid to glance back at me and just make sure you know where I'm at. And the young man that's going to round out the class, it's a shame because your partner's not wanting to cooperate out here today, and that's tough. I've been there before. But very good job, with your eye contact and ring awareness. It's just your partner didn't want to cooperate today. Congratulations.
Results for Class 4, Showmanship 14 and 15-year-olds. First place, Austin Glover. Second place, Mary Boswell. Third place, Dylan Montgomery. Fourth place, Owen Wise. In your program, it should read 2, 1, 3, 4. Now entering the show ring for champion senior showmanship, we have Raven Heron, Riley Trotman, Kaylee Bingham, and Austin Glover. Class 5, Showmanship 13-year-olds, please bring your animals to ringside.
Well, I think this is a really competitive drive of senior showmen out here, and I only get to pick one. Honestly, in my mind, there's probably two individuals out here that really catch my eye and I think are doing a pretty good job, so I'll just talk everyone individually. The young lady with the brown weather out here that came out of the oldest class, I think she does a really, really good job of handling that weather. Like I said in her class, you can pretty much brace him into position. I did appreciate this time how you would reach down and touch a hind leg to get him set up. I really like that. A couple things, your transitions, when you were walking him here, you went around the back side of him. I'd rather see you go around the front side of that weather when you switch from side to side, but very good job with eye contact and ring awareness. The young lady out of the second oldest class, I think you do a very nice job getting your doe set up. The way you have her set up now, she looks very, very nice. And I like how you reach down and touch all of those feet. Maybe not the quickest on transitioning from side to side sometimes, but still a very good job with your eye contact and your ring awareness. The young lady that's going to come out of the second youngest class, like I said in your class, you're super ring aware, your eye contact's great, I love your intensity, and I really appreciated in that class how you touched all 4 feet of your doe when you went and set her up. Every time I've got my hands on her, she's had a really good brace. Congratulations, very good job. The young man out of the youngest class in that division, you do a very nice job of getting your weather set up. And like I said in your class, you do have good eye contact. Sometimes your transitions are just a little bit slow, so that's something you can work on improving. But in my mind, it comes down to the young lady in front of me and the young lady on the end. Between the two of those, it's probably just little nitpicky details, and it's tough because I wish I could take both of you for a champion in reserve in this division, but I'll give it one more look and go out and show you which one I prefer.
Senior champion showman is Kaylee Bingham. Class 4, 13-year-old showmans, please enter the ring.
Well, there's certainly some different types of style in this class, and if you want to switch the kids around, I'd be okay with that. The young man that I'm going to use to start off the class, I think you're just the most efficient in getting your dough set up. I like how you can stop her, grab those feet, get her into position. You remain and have good eye contact throughout the time you're here. A couple things I'd like to see going forward. If I walk around your dough, make sure you're switching sides so that your dough is always in between the two of us. And another little thing, it's a little bit on the nitpicky side, but every now and then your dough will want to throw her front legs out. Just make sure you reach those and grab those back, but very good job with eye contact. The young man that's going to come in second, his dough's wanting to be a little bit more of a handful out here, but I think you do a very nice job with your transitions. You're probably the quickest to get to the opposite side of the dough if she wants to turn around and get a little worked up. One thing I'd say for you going forward, and I know it's tough when she's acting like this, but every now and then she'll throw out her back feet and get a little stretched. Make sure you reach down and reset those. And the young lady that's going to round out the class, I think you do a very good job of reaching down and setting the feet on your dough. The biggest thing for me, I just need a little bit more eye contact. And when I walk around your dough, make sure you are switching sides so I always get the best view of your dough. But congratulations, guys.
Class 4, 13-year-old showman. First place, Austin Bagwell. Second place, Max Schwartz. Third place, Samantha Boswell. In your program, 1, 3, 2. Now entering the show ring is Class 5, 12-year-old showmans. 11-year-old showmans. Class 6, please come to ringside.
Another really good class out here, and I think the young lady that's going to start is doing a really good job. I thought she did a pretty good job yesterday with sheep, and she comes out here with a goat and does another really good job. Like yesterday, I like how you reach down and touch those legs, set them into place. You do a really good job getting a nice brace on your weather. Always really good in terms of your transitions, making sure I have a front view, a side view, every view. Good job holding on. You do a really good job with that. One thing I would say going forward, when you're walking, you have really good eye contact, and you definitely know where I'm at, but don't be afraid to break eye contact, to look in front of you. And make sure you know where you're going and you're not getting too close to the exhibitor in front of you. Very nice job. The young lady that comes in second certainly does a nice job as well. And your eye contact, your intensity, I love it. You're super driven out here. I really like how you get your dose set up. She wants to be a little bit cantankerous out here. She likes to try to jump up and give you a hug every now and then. But that's just a goat for you. One thing I'd say going forward for you that I'd like to see a little bit more of, when I get off into the front of your doe and then come to handle her, try to get a good brace immediately. You will get it eventually, but sometimes she wants to take a second or two before she gets in a good brace. So be aggressive with that to get her to brace, but very good job with eye contact and knowing where I'm at. The young lady that comes in third, I think you do a very, very good and efficient job of getting your dose set up super, super fast, and I love that. Right now, she has her one hind leg up a little bit, so just be aware of that, because sometimes she wants to do that and move a hind leg on you without you knowing. But for me, the biggest thing that I think you can work on for next year, when I come around to the front of the animal, is the transition from side to side. You do a good job of transitioning from side to side, but try to make it a little bit more smooth and fluent. Just make it a little bit more natural. But congratulations, another very nice job. And the young lady that's going to round out the class with the black doe, I think you do a very good job of eye contact and knowing where I'm at in the ring. The biggest thing, she just wants to kind of throw her feet around every now and then and chew on your bolo. But just be aware if she moves a foot, try to be a little bit more cognizant of that, because every now and then she'll want to move a foot around and get out of place. But very nice job, congratulations.
Class 5, 12-year-old Showmans. First place, Jaden Mantua. Second place, Addison Ridgely. Third place, Savannah Glover. And fourth place, Haley Evans. In your program, it should read 4, 3, 1, 2. Now entering the ring is Class 6, 11-year-old Showman.
Another really nice class of showmen out here, and I think the young lady does an exceptional job with her ring awareness, eye contact, knowing where I am at all times. Out of everyone in this class, you always made sure you were on the correct side of the animal in relation to where I was in the show ring, and I think you just did a tremendous job of always knowing where I was and getting your doe set up, excuse me. One thing I would like to see is maybe try to reach down and touch those back legs. I know you tried before and she wasn't a huge fan of it, and I get it. Some just don't like that, so if she won't give it to you, mark it, park it like you did, and get her braced up. But very good job, very good ring awareness. The young man that's going to come second, I love your intensity and I love your drive, and you're super good about getting your weather braced up and presenting him very nicely. A couple things to work on. Every now and then when you brace him into position, he wants to throw a back leg out, so maybe try to reach down and pick that back up and move it into place. And then when I come around the front of your weather, I'd like to see you really get off to the side of him so I have a good chest floor view of him, but very nice job with eye contact. The young lady that's going to be third, I think you do a really good job with eye contact and knowing where I'm at in the ring, and I think now it's the time where you can take it a step further and become an even better showman. Make sure when I get on the other side of the animal, you change to the opposite side so that the animal's always in between the two of us, and I know your doe's wanting to act up a little bit and pull back on you, but when she does that sometimes, don't fight her as much, just let her do it and then try to reset her feet and go from there, but very good job with your eye contact. And the young man that's going to round out the class, I think you do a very nice job of getting your doe set up. Sometimes she wants to get a little bit underneath of herself like she is now, so maybe just try to reach down and fix the back leg. But one thing I'd like to see you work on for next time is when you're walking, try to have a little more eye contact with me to make sure you know where I'm at in relation to you and your doe, but very nice job. Congratulations.
Results for Class 6, 11-year showman. I have first place, Anna Campaneri, second place, Quinn Hartner, third place, Abigail Nelson, and fourth place, James Boswell. In your program, it should read 4, 1, 2, 3. Now entering the show ring is our champion intermeet showmanship drive. Our judge today is Caitlin Bell from Nottingham, PA. She is a K-State graduate, a member of the K-State Meat Judging, Meat Animal Evaluation, and Livestock team. She showed cattle, sheep, hogs, and goats in 4-H. She also is Chester County 4-H Livestock Judging Coach and works at First Citizen Community Bank as an ag lender and my family cow/calf farm, B&R Angus.
I think this is a really impressive group of showmen out here for this division, and you know, they all three have their strengths for sure. I'll talk them real quick individually. The young man out of the oldest class, you know, he's one that I said in his class did a nice job of getting his dough set up and getting her looking right. Out here, I'd probably like to see you transition from side to side a little bit better, and when I handle your dough, make sure you get a good brace on her. That always helps in showmanship and in the market animal show if your animal's bracing for sure. The young lady in the middle here in front of me, you know, like I talked about, your intensity, your drive, I love it. It's awesome. You're super intense. You do a nice job of getting your weather set up. He's wanting to act up a little bit right now. But one thing I'd say you could do going forward is when I get walking down the front and I go to handle your weather there, I want you to give me a front view, but as soon as I get my hands on him, I want you to be on him, bracing him. So just working on that in the future. And the young lady out of the youngest class here, you know, I think you do a really nice job of getting your dough set up, and you do an awesome job with your transitions. One thing I might like to see a little bit more of is making sure you reach down to set those back feet. Sometimes you just rely on bracing her into position. But you do a very good job with your eye contact, ring awareness, always making sure I get the best views of your dough. You know, I'll be honest with you, for me it comes down to the two young ladies out here. But probably it's nitpicky little things that are going to separate the two. But the young lady that I think has done an awesome job out here from the time she got into her class all the way to now is the young lady out of the last class. Congratulations.
Our champion intermediate showman is Anna Campanari. Now entering the ring is Class 7 10-year-old showmans. Class 8 9-year-old showmans, please come to ringside.
Well, a nice class to start out the next division here, and there's some stubborn goats in here for sure. But the young man that I'm going to start with, you know, I think he just does the best job of getting his weather set up. Now that I say that, he's going to act up for me. But I think you just do the best job of getting your weather set up, and you're so consistent about how you can get him set up. You have good eye contact. You always know where I'm at in the ring. One thing I challenge you to do going forward, when I walk around the front of your weather, don't be afraid to switch to the other side so that the weather's always in between the two of us. But very good job with eye contact and getting your weather set up. The young lady in second, I asked her when her weather was on a backing up trip if she packed her muscles, because it looks like she needs it with him. But you do a very good job with your eye contact and staying cool under a little bit of pressure, even when your weather doesn't want to be the most cooperative. But I really appreciate how you still tried to reach down and touch his back legs and get him set up, even when he's a little bit bigger than you and wanted to throw you around. Very good job with that. Something to go forward and work on. When I come to brace your animal, make sure you have a good brace on him. So really get in front of him and push back on him so he gets a nice tight brace, but very nice job. And the young lady that's going to round out the class, I certainly think you do a good job of getting your weather set up. And when he wants to cooperate, he looks really, really good the way you get him set up. One thing I challenge you to do is sometime reach down and try to touch those back feet, because every now and then when you brace him into position, he doesn't want to have his back feet quite where they need to be. So don't be afraid to reach down and touch those back feet, but very nice job handling a big weather. Congratulations.
Results for Class 7, 10-year-old Showmans. First place, George Church. Second place, Kendall Dowdy. And third place, Kendall Nelson. Next, coming into the show ring, we have Class 8, 9-year-old Showmans. Correction, Class 7 Showmanship 10-year-olds, first place, George Church, second place, Kennedy Nelson, third place, Kendall Dowdy. In the show ring should be Class 8, 9-year-old Showmans.
Well, both young ladies, I think, do a tremendous job, especially for being in the 9-year-old Showmanship. I love their intensity. I love their eye contact. And they're both extremely ring aware. So what really separates it for me is the little things. And the young lady that I'm going to use to start off, I really like the way you handle the head and neck on your weather, especially when he's in motion. You keep it at a nice 90-degree angle. I like how you stay at his shoulder when he's on the move. And then what I like probably the most is that you're able to try to reach down and touch those feet and get him set up like that. I know it can be challenging when he's so long like he is, but very nice job. One thing I'd say going forward, maybe you could work on, make sure when I handle him, he has a good brace. At first, the first time I handled him, he wasn't really bracing. The second time, you did a much better job at that. So just try to make sure each time I go to handle, he has a very good firm brace, but very nice job. The young lady that's going to come in second, her weather's wanting to act up for her a little bit now, but she's never given up, and I really love your eye contact and how ring aware you are. You did a very nice job with your transitions. A couple little things to improve on. When you got off to the side there and pulled in here, your weather wanted to be a little bit out of line compared to the young lady that was in front of you. Just make sure he's in the same line and same position as the one in front of you, but very nice job.
Class 8, 9-year-old showman, first place, Cora Brendel, second place, Ruby Church. Now entering the show ring is Class 9, first-year showmans. Aniston Todd, please come to show ring.
Why don't you put your hands together for two very good first-year showmen out here with their goat projects. The young lady with her weather Luke that I'm going to start the class off with. I think you do a really good job with eye contact and making sure you know where I'm at in the ring. And I really like how you reach down and touch each of your weather's legs to get him set up. Yeah, look at you go. No, it's okay to be excited. But I really like how you reach down and touch each one of those legs. Something to work on going forward. Sometimes your goat doesn't want to quite walk with you as well, so don't get out in front and drag him. Try to stay closer to his shoulder and maybe reach back and touch his tail and see if that'll get him go. But very good job. The young man with his weather Vader that's going to come in second, you do a very nice job of getting him set up and getting him looking really nice. And when I went and felt him, he braced really, really well, which I appreciate. One thing that you can do for next year to get better, try to have a little bit more eye contact with me and make sure you know where I'm at all times in the ring. But very good job to both of you. Congratulations on exhibiting your first goats.
Results for Class 10 First Year Showman. First place, Michaela Willie. Second place, Mason Willie. Now entering the show ring are our junior first place showmen for the champion drive.
Well, a really good and a really fun drive of juniors it has been, and congratulations all three of you for being out here in the championship lineup. One thing I can say is to those intermediates who are maybe not too far away from being out on the junior side of things, you better watch out, because I think these three are all going to be pretty competitive once they get to that intermediate age. But the young man that came out of the oldest class, like I said in your class, you do such a nice job of getting your weather set up, and I really appreciate how you get him looking and just how you walk him and how you're so smooth with that. couple things I'd like to see is when I'm off to the other side, make sure you switch from side to side so your weather's always in between the two of us. But very good job with your eye contact and getting him set up. The young lady out here in the middle, you're certainly an intense one out here, and there's no denying that. I really like how you handle your weather's head and neck, especially on the move, and you're so smooth in your transitions and always making sure you're on the correct side of your weather, regardless of where I am. You know, one thing I saw you do out here that I really appreciate, when the young man's weather in front of you wanted to slow down a little bit, I like how you helped him out and reached for his tail to help get him going. That's really good sportsmanship, and I appreciate that. And the young lady out of the first year class, you know, like I said, in your class, you do a very good job with eye contact. I love your smile and how excited you are to be out here. One thing you could work on, every now and then your weather wants to move a front leg a little bit, so just make sure you reach down and reset that if you feel him do that. But very good job to all three of you individuals out here. For me, the one that's going to go ahead and win this division is going to be the young lady in the middle. Congratulations. Good job.
Results for your champion junior showman is Cora Brendel. I need all three champion showmans to please come back into the ring for the champion drive.
Well, I said it yesterday in the Market Lamb Showmanship contest that, you know, I know what it takes to be a good showman, and I can coach someone to be a good showman, but judging showmanship definitely is probably not on my favorite things to do list. And mainly because I find it, tough to be critical on kids because everyone has a different style and kind of what they're drawn to. And so much of showmanship is subjective, just like judging livestock, but it really comes down to personal preference. And I've been fortunate enough to help be on the staff of some of these larger showmanship camps. The one I'm thinking of in particular is Champion's Choice Camp, run by Tracy Denninger out of Ohio. And it's really obvious and evident when I come to shows to see kids that have been through camps like that, whether it's Champion's Choice or YGB, there's another level of performance and expertise that they have when they hit the ring. But like I said, it's definitely tougher for me to come out here and sort of the kids, because so much of it is really just my personal opinion and how I like to see things done. I'm not really going to talk the three that are out here. I've tried to talk them to the best of my ability and explain the differences that I liked in their respected classes and divisions. But I think all three young ladies come out here and do a tremendous job. In my mind, there's probably one individual that just sticks out in terms of consistency and how well she gets her animal set up every time, and just her poise and how relaxed she is out in the ring. I'm going to put the mic down and I'm going to go out and show you your champion showman. Congratulations to everyone that came out here today.
Your grand champion showman today is Anna Campanari. We are going to go ahead and move into our exhibition classes. Right now I need class 1 exhibition class, weights between 39 and 46 pounds to ringside. Currently in the ring is class 1 exhibition class, weight range between 39 and 46 pounds. Class 2, please come to ringside.
I'm going to leave these exhibitors just the way they stand right now. The young man's doe that's going to win the class, you know, I think she's super, super stout at the ground, and I love her hoof shape and just how much bone she has at the ground. And conversely, when you get on top of her, she offers a ton of rack shape, super fresh up high. I love the roundness of body she had. If I could change anything, I'd probably like to level her out of her hip just a little bit. She wants to round a little bit, but a very nice doe to start out the class. The young lady's wether that's going to come in second, you know, compared to the one in first, he needs to hook up better directly behind his shoulder. He wants to get a little weak there, but I probably prefer the way his hip is shaped compared to the one in first. Unfortunately, he probably just doesn't have his true muscle shape up high, especially right behind his shoulder, but he's still super round and youthful in the shape of his rib. Now the young man's wether that's going to round out the class, I really like him from a profile, and especially when you get him on the move. I think he's really good in terms of his structure and how fluid and athletic he is. For me, the biggest thing, he's probably the plainest in the shape directly outside of his shoulder, and when I get behind him, he just doesn't have as much genuine hip shape as the two above him. Congratulations, guys.
Class 1 results. First place, Max Schwartz. Second place, Savannah Glover. Third place, Austin Glover. In your program, it should read 3, 2, 1. Now entering the show ring is Class 2, ranging from 55 to 63 pounds. Class 16, Bred Market Goats, please come to ringside.
I think the young lady to start out the class brings out a really nice wether out here. He's super round in terms of his body shape, and I love how fresh he is on the upper side of his rack. He transitions it back into a really big hip and twist, and I really appreciate that about him. Now, where the wether that stands in second probably has the advantage over him is in his hip structure and down into his hock. I'd like to see him move with a little bit more flex out of his hock, and the one in second certainly has that advantage, but certainly a nice wether to start out the class. The young lady's wether that's going to be second, you know, he's one that is just super flexible off of either end, and I really like his angles and how extended he is up through his front 1/3. For me, he probably just needs a little bit more shape directly behind his shoulder. He gets a little flatter and plainer in the shape out there, but still a very attractive wether to go second. Congratulations. Yep, congratulations.
Results from Class 2. First place, Addison Ridgely. Second place, Raven Heron. In your program, it should read 1, 2, scratch. Now entering the ring is Class 16, Bred and Own Market Goats. Class 17, please come to ringside.
The young lady's doe that's going to start out and win the first class in the Bred and Owned show here, I think is awfully nice. I love how stout and big-footed she is at the ground. She's super bold and expressive through her chest floor. And when I get behind her, she's so round and youthful in terms of the shape of her rib. Offers a tremendous amount of shape out of her hip and down into the lower portion of her twist. One thing I'd like to modify about her, she wants to round off a little bit directly out of her hip, but I still think she's an awfully nice one to start this class. The young man's wether that's going to come in second, he's one that certainly is a high-performing, large-framed wether, and I really appreciate that about him. And get him on the move. He's super flexible and good at the ground. He probably just needs a little bit more genuine width when I get behind him. He's a little bit plainer in the shape down into the lower portions of his leg, but still a very practical one to go second.
Results from Class 16 Bred and Owned Market Goat. First place, Kaylee Bingham. Second place, George Church. In your program, 1, 2. Now entering the show ring is Class 17 Bred and Owned Market Goats.
The young lady with the red wether out here that's going to win the class, he's a powerhouse. Not only is he huge through his chest floor, but he progressively gets wider from his shoulders back into his hip, and man, he meets my hand with a huge leg. You get an awesome brace on him. Congratulations, very nice entry. The young lady that comes in second, I think it gets a little bit closer between her and the young lady in third. But the young lady that's going to be in second, I think her wether just has the advantage in having a little bit more rib shape and having a little bit more turn down into the lower portions of his leg. Now, compared to the wether in third, your wether's probably a little bit to his front end, and he could be a little bit laid back in the angle of his shoulder just in terms of how he gets out and goes, but I still think he offers enough product and power, so you're going to be second. The young lady's all white wether that's going to round out the class, you know, he's one that certainly catches my eye from the profile, and he's ultra cool through his front end, really long, very extended. I like how level he is out of his top. If I were to change him, I'd like to stouten him up at the ground. He probably just needs a little bit more foot shape, and does have some shape from the back side of his shoulder. He just gets a little plainer in the shape down to the lower portions of his leg. Still a very nice entry the young lady brought out here today. Congratulations.
Class 17 Bred and Owned Market Goats. Results: first place, Raven Heron. Second place, Cora Brundle. Third place, Ruby Church. Now entering the show ring should be all of our first place winners. Second place, please be at ringside.
Well, I think there's two really nice class winners out here in competition for the Grand and Reserve Grand Champion bred and owned. And I've shown a lot of bred and owned animals in my life, and I think it's something that's really cool and really unique when you can not only show one that you bred, but have them be as good as the two class winners that are out here. I think that's awfully impressive. You know, between the two, there's some differences in who they are and what they are, but I think they're both good for each of their respective weight. You know, the young lady's doe out here out of the first class, you know, she's one that I talked about for being very attractive. Third, I love how good she is at the ground. Maybe like to level her out of her hip a little bit. But still a super fresh rack, and compared to the weather behind her, she's certainly the leaner, fresher handling one of the pair. The weather out of the second class, you know, he is just a big, burly dude. He's got so much rack shape, so bold and expressive through the center portion of his rib, and I love the shape he offers down into the lower portion of his leg. Is he the coolest his front end? No, but he's a wether, and he's, you know, a market wether at that, so I'm okay with that. For me, I think they're both really good, but the one that kind of hits my fancy most is going to be the young lady out of the heavier class. You'll be reserved. Congratulations. 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 Very nice job.
Grand Champion Bred and Owned Market Goat was exhibited by Raven Heron, and Reserve Champion Bred and Owned Market Goat was exhibited by Kaylee Bingham. Now entering the show ring is Class 21 individual market goats ranging from 51 to 54 pounds. Class 22, please come to ringside.
Well, a nice class of wether and a doe here to start out our lightweight division. The young lady off to my left here with the black wether is going to be the class winner here today. And, you know, of the two, I think he's a really nice wether when I get my hands on him. He offers a lot of shape on the top side of his shoulder and still carries it back into the lower portion of his leg. Of the two, he's the stouter one at the ground. Now, would I change a couple things about him? Probably. I'd like to maybe give him a little bit more length up through his front 1/3, and that's where the young lady's doe in second has the advantage. She's really elevated and extended through her front 1/3, and I really like your doe when she gets on the move. She's super athletic and very flexible. For me, she just needs a little bit more muscle shape and definition today to get around the one in first, but very good job. Congratulations to both of you.
Class 21 results for goats ranging between 51 and 54 pounds. First place, Brianna Powell. Second place, Abigail Nelson. In your program, it should read 1, 2. Now entering the ring is Class 22 individual market goat. Class 23, please come to ringside.
Well, an interesting pair of goats here that both have their differences. The one I'm going to side with is the young lady's doe here. You know, off from the profile, she offers a really attractive look. She's super elevated through her chest floor. I love her progression of lower body and how cool she is about her head and neck. And, you know, maybe she's not quite the boldest and the roundest in terms of her rib shape, but she does offer a nice shape directly behind her shoulder and carries that back into her hip. You know, in terms of rib shape, the young man with the black weather, he's super bold and super robust in terms of how much rib and turn he has. Where I'd like to change him is when I handle him up high. He gets a little plainer in the shape directly behind his shoulder and just doesn't have much of his expression as the one above him. But certainly a good pair of goats that both have their differences. Congratulations, guys.
Class 22 individual market goats ranging from 56 to 57 pound results. First place, Samantha Boswell. Second place, Quinn Hartner. Now entering the ring is Class 23. Class 24, please come to ringside.
Well, the young man's brown leather that I'm going to start the class off with, he's super expressive up high. I love the turn and shape he offers. On the top side of his shoulder, out through his loin and down into his hip and lower portion of his leg, and he's super lean. And super fresh to the touch, massive forearm to him. If I could change him, he probably needs to be leveler out of his hip, and I might change the angle of his shoulder. He wants to get a little bit straighter when he gets out and goes, but he's just a super expressive, very nice leather to start off the class. Now the two young ladies in second and third, I think it gets a little bit closer between the two of them, and if you wanted to switch them, I'd be totally okay with that. I opted to side with the young ladies doe in second. You know, of the two, I think she offers a more genuine shape, especially out of the top side of her shoulder. She remains a little bit wider there and carries that better down into the lower portion of her leg. Of the two, she's probably the plainer through her front end. I'd like to clean her up in her chest floor a bit and give her a little bit more extension about her head and neck, but I just think in terms of genuine shape and power, she has a little bit of an edge over the young lady's wether that'll be third. Now the young lady's wether that's in third, he certainly is the freshest hided one out of the class by far, and he has an awesome touch to him. For me, he just gets plainer in the shape directly behind his shoulder. He wants to taper there a little bit, and he gets plainer and staler over his loin edge, but still a very stout, nice made wether to go third. And the young man's doe that I'm going to round out the class with, you know, I really love her structure and how extended she is through her front 1/3. For me, she just needs a little bit more roundness of rib shape and power to get above the ones ahead of her, but very nice job. Good job.
Class 23 individual market goats ranging from 60 to 62 pounds. First place, William Myers. Second place, Addison Ridgely. Third place, Michaela Willie. Fourth place, George Church. In your program, it should read 3, 1, 2, 4. Now entering the show ring is class 24 individual market goats ranging or being 63 pounds. Coming to ringside should be class 25.
The young man here to my left that's going to start off the class, you know, he's got a really powerful wether. He's super big through his forearm, very wide through his chest floor, and when I get on top of him, he accordingly carries that mass and width up high, really big at the top side of his rack. I love the shape he offers to the lower portion of his leg, and he still does it with being super stout at the ground. Where I'd change him, I'd like to tuck him up in his chest floor a little bit and probably square him up from his knee down to the ground, and I think that's where the young man's doe in second probably has the advantage of the pair. But for me, although she is ultra feminine and refined about her front end, I just need to see her with a little bit more shape and dimension right behind her shoulder and down into the lower portion of her leg. Congratulations to you both.
Class 24 individual market goat. First place, Cody Trotman. Second place, James Boswell. Now entering the show ring is Class 25 Market Goats, ranging from 64 to 65 pounds. All first and second place class winners, please come to ringside for the champion drive.
You're on the other side. Well, the young lady brings out a really nice doe here to start out the class, and she does a really good job getting her shown, and she's presented really well. And what I love about this doe is just how much shape and turn she offers up high, yet she still gives a really good look from the side. She's tall and elevated through her chest floor. Her progression of depth and lower body is really, really good, and she still moves with plenty of flex off of either end. She could probably be laid back just a little bit in her knee and square her up there, but I think she's a very nice one to start. Not to take anything away from the young man's weather in second, because I think he's an awfully good one too. I wish he'd just cooperate a little bit more out here. He's super stout at the ground, fresh-hided. Love how good of a handle he gives me. Right now, he just wants to drop his head, and he gets a little bit too open about his shoulder. And when I get behind him, although he has plenty of shape up high, I'd just like him to offer a little bit more shape into the lower portion of his leg there, but still a really nice individual to go second. And the young lady with her doe out here, this is certainly a nice doe, just put in a very tough class. She offers a lot of shape up high, and she's still round and youthful in her body shape. Where I change her, just lay her back in her chest a little bit. She wants to get a little bit she wants to have a little bit extra in her chest floor, and I'd probably like to give her a little bit more shape in the lower portion of her leg just to match what she has up high. But a very nice class. Congratulations to all 3 exhibitors.
Class 25 individual market goats, ranging 64 to 65 pounds. First place, Anna Campaneri. Second place, Mason Willie. Third place, Samantha Skelly. Now entering the show ring are our first place class winners for your champion drive. Second place, please be on standby. Big shout out today to our Ag Ambassadors who's helping us out here in the show ring handing out ribbons, and to our judge who comes from Nottingham, PA, Miss Caitlin Bell. She is a K-State graduate, a member of the K-State Meat Judging, Meat Animal Evaluation, and Livestock team. Showed cattle, sheep, hogs, and goats in 4-H. She is the Chester County 4-H Livestock Judging Coach and works at First Citizen Community Bank as an ag lender and on her family farm with cows and calves, B&R Angus.
Well, I think this is a pretty nice lineup of lightweight goats here, and I'm not going to take a lot of time to discuss them. I've tried to do my very best in class to explain what I'm thinking and what I'm going after, but in my mind there's really 3 that stand out here in contention for grand and then reserve. And you know, they all have the market basics of width and expression, but then they have that extra show ring look to them, a little extra style, pizzazz, which makes it fun. You know, in my mind, the longer I sit out here and the more I study them, there's probably just a pair that hit me pretty hard in their respected classes, and I don't think I need to break them up today. So the champion and reserve in this division are going to be the 2 out of the last class. Congratulations.
Your champion Division I market goat lightweight division is going to be Anna Campaneri, and your reserve champion Division I market goat is going to be Mason Willie. Now entering the show ring is going to be Class 26. Class 27, please come to ringside.
Well, I think it's a really nice pair to start out this class, and I apologize for taking a little extra time to sit here and make up my mind on these two, but I think they're both really good. So the young lady's Weather that I opted to start the class with, you know, I love him from a profile. I love the angle and the set of his hip and hind leg. I love how tall and elevated he is out of his chest floor. He's super cool about his front end, yet when I still get behind him, he offers enough shape and power up high, and he's super fresh to the touch. Now, I think he's rounder bodied than the young lady's doe that's going to come in second, but the young lady's doe has more shape directly behind his shoulder, directly behind her shoulder, out over her rack and into the lower portion of her leg. Where I'd like to change this doe is she needs to be ratcheted back a little bit in her chest floor and probably just give her a little bit more extension through her front 1/3. She just doesn't offer the same look that the other one does from the side, but both very high quality, very nice pair. Congratulations to the both of you. The young lady's doe that's going to come in third, you know, it's a nice doe in her own right. She just got stuck in a tough class. I think your doe's really good at the ground when you get her out on the move. She's super flexible, very athletic, and I love how level she is out over her top. For me, she just probably needs a little bit more muscle shape and expression, especially compared to the two directly above her, to go any higher, but very nice entry. Congratulations.
Class 26 individual market goats ranging from 66 to 67 pounds. First place, Taryn Schwartz. Second place, Taryn Schwartz. Third place, Riley Trotman. Now entering the ring is class 27, goats ranging it being 68 pounds. Now coming to ringside, class 28.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the amazing
The young lady's doe that I'm going to go ahead and start the class out with wants to be a little stubborn here, but I think when she gets her stopped, she looks pretty good. She's stout at the ground. She's wider through the chest floor compared to the one in second, and I think she's just rounder and more youthful in her body shape and offers more dimension from her rack all the way back to the lower portion of her leg. Now, from the side profile is where I prefer the young lady's doe that's going to go second. She's more extended and attractive about her head and neck. And I prefer the set and angle of her hip and hind leg compared to the one that's going to go in first. For me, she just gets a little too tight in the top side of her spine. I'd like to see her more relaxed there. And she just doesn't have the same roundness and youthfulness of rib shape that the young lady's doe that went first did. But congratulations, a nice entry.
Class 27, individual market goats weighing 68 pounds. First place, Anna Campanari. Second place, Brittany Morris. Now entering the show ring is Class 28 individual market goats weighing 69 pounds. Class 29, please come to ringside.
The young lady's blonde-headed wether that I'm going to start off the class with is one who is super expressive up high. I love how fresh and youthful he is in his rack shape, how much fill he has over his loin, and he's still big into the lower portions of his leg. I like his stoutness at the ground, and I certainly think he gets out and travels well enough. If I could change him, I'd like to clean him up through his chest floor, maybe tuck him in a little bit. And I'd like to change the angle of his shoulder just a little bit. He wants to get straighter through his front end, but still I think he's a really nice one to start the class out with. Now the young lady's red wether that's going to come in second, he's one that I actually prefer his front end structure compared to the one in first. He's more tucked up through his chest, and I like how he ties his neck higher at the top side of his shoulder. For me, although he is round-bodied, he just needs a little bit more genuine shape down the top side and into the lower portion of his leg, but a very nice pair of wethers out here. Congratulations.
Class 28, individual market goats weighing 69 pounds. First place, Taryn Schwartz. Second place, Brianna Powell. Now entering the show ring is Class 29, individual market goats weighing 70 pounds. Class 30, please come to ringside.
The young lady's wether that I'm going to use to start the class off, I think he's really nice. I love how stout and big-footed he is at the ground. He's really big and expressive through his forearm, and he still is really good in the progression of his lower body from his chest back to his flank. Now when I get my hands on top of him, he's super wide and expressive out over his top and carries that down into the lower portion of his leg. If I could change him, I'd like to hook him up just a little bit stronger right behind his shoulder and maybe level him out just a little bit over his hip, but he's an awfully nice one to start the class, I think. The young lady's black doe that's going to be second, you know, she's certainly a very nice practical doe. Her structure's super good. She gets out and goes with a ton of flexibility and ease in motion. For me, she probably needs to be stouter at the ground. She wants to roll out of her hip. I'd like to level her out there, and compared to the one in front of her, I'd like to tuck her up a little bit in her flank and just clean her up in her lower body, but a very nice doe nonetheless. Congratulations to both of you.
Class 29 individual market goats weighing 70 pounds. First place, Kendall Dowdy. Second place, Haley Evans. Now entering the show ring is Class 30 individual market goats weighing between 75 and 79 pounds. First place class winners and second place class winners, please come to ringside.
Hold these two here again like we did last time.
Well, another really nice pair of does to start off this class, and if you wanted to switch them around from what I did, I'd be completely okay with that. The young lady's doe that I opted to start the class with, she's so stout at the ground, big in her forearm, wide through her chest floor, and she still remains tucked up in her breastplate and is really good in her progression of lower body. Now, when I get on top of her, she is super wide and big topped. She's not as firm to the touch as the young lady's doe that's going to come in second, and where I'd like to change her, she needs to hook up stronger directly behind her shoulder. She wants to get a little weak there, but she still offers a ton of shape, especially out of her hip and down into the lower portion of her leg, all while being attractive and refined through her front end. Very nice entry. The young lady's doe that's going to come in second, she's one that's dead level. When you get stopped and parked, I love the look she gives from the side. Now, if I could change a couple things about her, while she does have a really good hide, she's super fresh-hided, super lean to the touch, I'd like her to carry that same width she has directly behind her shoulder down into her leg. She didn't just hit me with as much leg shape and turn that it seemed that she should offer for being so wide across her top. Additionally, I'd probably like to give her just a shot more bone at the ground to really balance her out and give her an awesome look from the side, but still a very nice entry for the young lady. And the young lady that's going to round out the class, you know, he's the bigger framed weather who's probably, in all honesty, having a later maturity point than the others. You know, he does have some cover. He probably needs just a little bit more time on feed to really finish out right, but he is still super stout at the ground and very round in his body shape. Congratulations, a nice entry.
Class 30 individual market goats ranging between 75 and 79 pounds. First place, Kaylee Bingham. Second place, Jaden Mantua. Third place, Mary Boswell. In your program, it should be 1, 3, 2. Now entering the show ring is Division 2 Champion Drive. All first place class winners, please enter the show ring.
Well, this is a really nice division for the middleweight goats, and I said in the first class, or the first division, excuse me, that there were probably 3 out there that I thought were pretty good and in contention, and coming out here, I'd say there's probably 4 or 5 that I think really have a shot at this division, and depending on who the judge is, it can probably go any which way. You know, in my mind, I'm looking for a balance of not only market basics, but still some show ring appeal, because these are show goats after all. Anyone can raise a good meat goat. It might not look the best, but the fun part about doing this is we can add some of the extras and have some of the fun traits that show livestock has. You know, I'm probably not really going to discuss them here. I've tried to do my best in their respective classes and just explain them the best I can. But I'm going to take one more look, and I'm going to go out and show you your champion in reserve for this middleweight division. Congratulations to all these exhibitors.
Your champion Division II Market Goat was exhibited by Taryn Schwartz. Your reserve champion Division II Market Goat was also exhibited by Taryn Schwartz. Now entering the show ring is Class 31 individual market goats ranging from 85 to 87 pounds. Class 32, please come to ringside.
A closer top pair here in this class, but the young lady's red weather that I opted to start with, he's one that meets my hand with more genuine shape up high. He's wider through his chest floor, and I appreciate how he offers more turn and shape down to the lower portion of his leg. Between the two of them, he handles fresher to the touch and he's fresher hided. Where I'd like to change him and where the one in second has the advantage, he needs to be cleaned up through his chest floor. He has a little extra chest that I'd like to clean up. And I'd like to maybe make him just a little bit stronger on the back side of his shoulder, but still a nice individual to start the class. The young lady's painted weather that's going to go here in second. You know, he's super attractive about his front 1/3, very long and extended through his head and neck, and I really like his structure when you get him on the move. For me, he wants to round out hip a little bit. I'd like to just level him out there, and compared to the young lady's weather in front of you, he just didn't have as much shape directly on the back side of his shoulder, but still a really nice weather to go second. The young lady's doe that's going to come here in third of the two remaining in the class, she's rounder and more youthful in her body shape, and I appreciate how she's stouter at the ground. Now, compared to the one behind you, she wants to round out of her hip probably a little bit more, but she still remains cleaner through her chest and more extended about her head and neck. The young lady's weather that's going to end the class, you know, he is a stout one at the ground, and he offers a cool look from the side when you get him set up, but where I'd like to change him is tuck him up in his chest floor. He's pushing out a little bit in his breastplate, and compared to the ones above him, he's probably the plainest in the shape in the lower portion of his leg. So I'd just like to give him a little bit more expression there, but very nice job. Congratulations.
The results of Class 31, first place, Jaden Mantua. Second place, Raven Heron. Third place, Ruby Church. Fourth place, Kennedy Nelson. In your program, 3, 1, 4, 2. Class 32 is in the ring. Class 33, please come to ringside.
The young lady's weather that I opted to start the class with is one that I like a great deal. I think he's really good in his angles off of either end, how he handles his hip and hind leg, and yet he's still ultra cool when she gets him set up and propped up on the side. He meets my hand with so much turn and shape out of the top side of his rack and is still super fresh. And I think the most intriguing part about him, for me at least, is how cool he is and clean he is through his chest floor and just his progression of lower body. I think he's a really good place to start. Very nice entry. The young man that's going to come in second, he certainly has a very practical weather of his own. I like his rib shape and his dimension, and I like how sound he is when you get him out on the move. For me, he probably just needs a little bit more shape right behind his shoulders there over his rack. He wants to get a little plainer, but still a very nice weather in his own right. Congratulations.
The results of Class 32, first place, Kaylee Bingham. Second place, George Church. Class 33 should be coming in the ring. Class 34 at ringside. In the program for Class 32 should be 2-1. The results of Class 32, first place was Kaylee Bingham. You can't hear? Second place was George Church.
The young lady that I'm going to use to start out the class, I thought I really liked her weather a lot when he came in, and then he tried to give her a shiner, and then I decided I didn't like his attitude. But he still looks really good when you get him stopped on the profile. He's really long and extended about his head and neck and still tucked up in his chest floor, and when I get my hands on him, he still meets me with a good full loin, and I really like the shape he has down into the lower portion of his leg. If I could change him a little bit, I'd probably change the angle and set to his hock and just relax him there a little bit, but a very nice entry to start out the class with. The young lady with the weather that's going to come in second, you know, he's certainly a very nice weather in his own right, and I love his stoutness at the ground and how level he is out of his top. He's super round and athletic in his body shape, but where he probably disappoints me the most is from directly behind. I wish he had the same shape and dimension down in the lower portion of his leg that he did at the top side of his rack, but he's still an attractive weather nonetheless to go second. The young man's weather that's going to round out the class, certainly a practical one in his build and probably the most flexible and athletic one out here. You know, for me, he probably just gets a little bit too weak right behind his shoulder, and I'd like to see a little bit more turn and shape in the lower portion of his leg. But congratulations to all three exhibitors.
Results from Class 33 individual market goats weighing 92 pounds. First place, Cora Brendel. Second place, Ruby Church. Third place, Owen Wise. Now entering the show ring is Class 34 goats weighing 97 to 100 pounds. Class 35, please come to ringside.
Well, I think this is an awfully nice pair of wethers here in this class, and I honestly think they could go either way. The young man's wether that I opted to start the class with, I think he's one that's super, super cool from the side profile. I love how tucked up he is in his chest floor. I think his progression of lower body is really good. And he's still long and extended about his neck, and still offers plenty of shape and turn up high. Of the pair, he's probably the bolder and more robust in terms of his rib shape, but I don't know who actually has more shape directly on the back side of their shoulder out to their rack. I think it gets really close between the two, but the one thing I am comfortable saying is he does have more turn and shape into the lower portion of his twist. Now the young lady's wether that's going to come in second, he's the stouter one at the ground, and I honestly prefer the rack shape that he offers up high. I don't know if it's more the feeling and the firmness that he has to it I like better. For me, I think he gets a little bit rounder out of his hip, and I'd like to level him up there. And while he is long and extended about his head and neck, he probably just needs to be tucked up in his chest floor a little bit. But like I said, it's two very good wethers in this class, a very nice pair. Congratulations to both exhibitors.
Class 34 individual market goats ranging from 97 to 100 pounds. First place, Nolan Wise. Second place, Raven Heron. Now entering the show ring is Class 35 individual market goats being 102 pounds. First place class winners and second place class winners, please come to ringside.
Well, I think it's another really nice weather to start off this class, and the young man's folded ear weather is certainly super expressive out of the top side of his rack. I love his hip shape. He carries that down into his lower leg. And when I get in front of him and study him, not only is he super wide through his chest floor, but he's big in his forearm, and yet he still ties his neck high at the top side of his shoulder. Of the pair up top, he remains the leaner one, who I think would certainly have the edge in cutability, although he's not as fresh-hided as the young man's weather that's in second. Certainly a really attractive, powerful one to start the class off with. The young man's weather in second, he initially hit me pretty hard. I mean, when I get behind him, he's super big, super robust through his rib, and offers a lot of shape down into the lower portion of his leg, but when I get my hands on him, he's got plenty of cover on him. I'd like to tone him back in his finish and clean him up through his chest floor a little bit, but still super stout, powerful one to come in second. And the young lady's weather that's going to round out the class, you know, he just got stuck in a good class. There's nothing wrong with this weather. He's still bold and youthful in the shape of his rib, and I love how level he is out of his top while tying his neck high at the top side of his shoulder. For me, I just like to stouten him up at the ground and give him a little bit more shape into the lower portion of his leg, but still a very nice weather the young lady brought us out here today.
Class 35 individual market goats weighing 102 pounds. First place, Dylan Montgomery. Second place, William Myers. Third place, Cora Brendel. Now entering the show ring are your first and second place class winners for your Division III champion.
Again, another really nice lineup out here for the heavyweight division, and this is the last division of the day, but I don't think the quality has dropped off any. And honestly, you know, out here of the class winners, there's probably 3, maybe even 4 that really fit my fancy pretty well. But in my mind, the more I study them, the more I look. There's 2 that I really can't justify beating, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. The 2 that I'm going to bring back for the grand champion drive are going to be the young man out of the last class, and you'll be reserved. Congratulations.
Your Division 3 Market Goat Champion was exhibited by Dylan Montgomery, and your Reserve Champion Division 3 Market Goat was exhibited by Nolan Wise. Now entering the show ring are your Division 1, 2, and 3 champions and Reserve champions. Rate of gain results for Market Goats. In first place with a ½ pound per day is William Myers. Second place rate of gain, George Church. Third place, Ruby Church. Fourth place, Raven Heron. Fifth place, Cora Brendel. Sixth place, Kaylee Bingham. Seventh place, Brianna Powell. Eighth place, Dylan Montgomery. Ninth place, Raven Heron. 10th place, Ruby Church. 11th place, Brianna Powell. 12th place, Nolan Wise. 13th place, Kaylee Bingham. 14th place, Mary Boswell. And 15th place, Brittany Morris. Congratulations to everyone for rate of gain.
Well, I've really had a lot of fun here today getting to evaluate these goats and working with their exhibitors. And, you know, I started my morning off judging the dairy goat show, and I'll be honest, I know pretty much only a YouTube video about dairy goats. So I'm pretty excited to be out here now and get to evaluate something that I'm a little bit more comfortable with looking at for sure. You know, throughout the day, the kids have been awesome to work with. Everyone here at the back table has been super helpful, and I really appreciate that. And I've just had a lot of fun getting to come out here and sort these animals. You know, I showed goats for 1 year. I begged my dad after a while to let me show a goat, and he finally broke down and agreed to do it, and it lived in our cattle show barn. And every morning he went out there to feed the heifers. He pretty much wanted to kill my goat because it'd make noise and it'd carry on, and he said the barn smelled like goats, and yeah, he just didn't like them. So that was kind of the Bell family household goat experience. So needless to say, after 2019, we haven't had any goats since then. But I think it is really a fun project and a rewarding one at that. And You know, just as I'm looking here, the young man out of the lightweight division that's reserved, you know, he just had the biggest smile on his face, and that's what showing livestock's about. It's meant to be fun. You'll have days that maybe aren't so fun, and maybe you don't want to get up and go walk your goats every morning, or maybe you don't like shearing goats like I do. I hate it. But it's all about having fun and making friends and making memories, because, you know, I'm going to go out and I'm going to pick two that I think are really cool that I like a lot. But at the end of the day, 20, 30 years from now, no one's going to really remember who won the grand champion goat at the 2022 Harford County Fair, or excuse me, Howard County Fair. No one's really going to remember that. It's going to be about the friends you make, the memories you make, and the connections you make that'll really get you through the rest of your life. So to all you kids in 4-H, keep sticking with it, even on the not so fun days. It's really worth it in the long run. That being said, I'm going to go out here and give it one more look, and then I'm going to show you your grand and reserve grand champion for this year's fair. Congratulations to all exhibitors that have come out here today. Tremendous job.
Your grand champion market goat was exhibited by Dylan Montgomery, and your reserve champion market goat was exhibited by Taryn Schwartz. Rate of gain winners. Your ribbons are at the table. Please come up and grab your ribbons.